I want to ask you a question. Ever feel like your executive presence can use a boost, but really not sure where to start? Well, what if I told you that a few small beauty habits can make a big difference in how you're perceived as a leader? For those of you I don't know, I'm Dr. Geneva, a leadership strategist and mentor for women and leaders like you, those seasoned leaders who are navigating their next life chapter and want to be the best that they can be, want to be the best leader, bring the most impact. And so during my career, I've raised over $100 million for causes, run organizations, built partnerships, and I know that how you show up matters. And in today's fast-paced environment, we everything's going on. A polished look can boost confidence and enhance our leadership presence. Whether we're leading an organization, running a business, managing a team remotely, or even navigating one of those high stake meetings, you know what I'm talking about. And whether you're in the boardroom or you're managing a team remotely, people are always observing how you present yourself. And in today's show, one of the things I want you to remember is that you don't have to be a beauty expert to get this thing right that I'm talking about. This is something every leader can incorporate into their daily routine. And it's an easy way to boost your confidence and polish your look. And you may be saying to me, Dr. Geneva, does this have anything to do with me being a leader? It does. Because being confident, having a great executive presence matters. And one of the ways to enhance and boost that is what we're going to be talking about today. So, five simple beauty habits um, that can help you enhance your leadership presence. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to welcome all of you on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Whether you're here with me live or on the replay, I want you to know that to have this conversation, I couldn't get into it without our guest today, the fabulous Shay Bailey. And Shay and I met, we were just comparing notes. Come on in, Shay. Shay and I were just chatting, and I was saying, now, we've known each other for years. And I was saying, now, where did we first met? We first met at a Mac counter. Okay. I was looking for some makeup, and she was there ready to serve and help. And I have known her through 20 years or so that's what she's done. So she's from the Mac counter. She went on to run various divisions in Mac, been a beauty expert all over the country, is a brand strategist, and even has her own app. Okay, so she's real tech savvy. And so I had to bring her on because she and I have had so many conversations about how beauty and makeup really can enhance your look. Good morning, Shay. And I see we both in pink.
Right, unplanned, but definitely bringing the energy this morning. So thank you so much for having me.
I am just so delighted. Well, I want to jump right into it. We're going to go over five simple beauty tips. And so that can help enhance your confidence. But before we get started, Shay, why do you think this conversation is important for us as women in leadership roles, as women executives?
Oh my gosh, the conversation is just so critical because as women take on additional responsibilities, it doesn't, exclude us from responsibilities in our personal lives. So that means that we're busier and busier. And we all know that we oftentimes neglect ourselves the busier we get. And it's just critical that we know when you show up and you feel good, you look good, you perform better. So as you start to, move and receive promotion and all the things you are deserving of professionally, we really want to encourage you from a beauty perspective not to neglect yourself internally and externally, because how you show up does matter.
I love it. When I first started my business, I had this, I guess, slogan you could call it, about look good, feel good, and do
Mhm.
good. And of course, the feel good has to do with, your body and how, you exercise, you keep those good habits going. And the do good part, it was what you do in your community and how you give back. And then
Yes.
the look good. Now, I got into a lot of confidence and all that inner, as well as the exterior. So it was both the inside and the outside. And so I'm so glad you brought those points up. So let's get into tip number one.
Okay, so as Dr. Geneva shared, I spent a large part of my career with MAC Cosmetics, 13 years to be exact. And during that time, I developed a clientele that really consisted of professional women, executives, women who were really moving and shaking in their space. And throughout my interactions with them, I found time to be the number one barrier when it came to their beauty habits and routines. So I developed this mentality of approaching your beauty habits from a ritual perspective,
Mhm.
right? So it's not something that's really optional or, I'm going to skip it this particular day. I really encourage you. Tip number one is to make your routine a ritual. And even if you utilize some tips like habit stacking, I know for myself, I need a coffee first thing, right? So I make my coffee and then I start to say, okay, what additional skincare do I want to use this morning? So it's a part of my habit. It's a ritual that's connected to getting ready in the morning. So I almost feel as if I'm missing out if I skip it. So that's rule number one.
Mhm.
Make it a part of your day and nighttime ritual, right? And
Mhm.
here's the thing where I differ a little bit when it comes to your nighttime ritual. Oftentimes you'll have the encouragement to slow down, relax, take
Mhm.
a bath. I can't tell you how many times I hear that in my own life. And for me personally, someone who is growing and running companies, I never really slow down. So sometimes the thought of completely slowing down is scary for me. So I don't necessarily say slow down in the evening, but more so incorporate a beauty regimen that feeds you. And it can involve music. It can involve fast-paced music. It can involve having the television playing in the background while you catch up on, the daily affairs. So make it a part of your ritual. That's rule number one.
I love it. Yeah, the whole idea of a routine. And there was a double tip in that because you talked about habit stacking. And so what that means is connect your beauty regimen, routine, what you want to do with something that you always do. So if you
Absolutely.
brush your teeth every night, brush your teeth, take off your makeup, cleanse your skin, put your beauty routine connected with a habit that you've already got established so that you'll gain a second habit and it'll become
Yes.
natural. My mom used to always tell me to never go to sleep with my makeup on. And so There'll be times, Shay, I come home from a long day. I just want to fall. I mean, the last thing I want to do is to
Yeah,
and take that stuff off. I just want to get in the bed. But I know how important that is. And so one of the things I know I've done is to try to find products that help me take my makeup off quicker.
absolutely. And there's benefit in that, right? It's not just the fact that you want it, off for, cleansing purposes. Your skin does the most turnover and repair at night. So there's benefits in removing all of the, cosmetics, dirt, oil, things that can attract itself to your skin throughout the day so that it can breathe throughout the night, except the skincare items that you are applying to it and do the most work for you. So there's definitely long-term benefits in what we were told growing up. Never sleep in your makeup.
That's right. That's right. Well, I just love that. And okay, so tip number one, make sure you have a routine morning and night that takes care of your skin and can be prepared for all the things that you want to put on it and your smile and everything that helps you be prepared. What's tip number two?
Tip number two gets overlooked, especially in the fall and winter months. Tip number two is sunscreen is a year round necessity.
Okay.
Every skin type, every skin tone should definitely incorporate sunscreen into their regimen on a daily basis. Here's why. When you have even dark marks or hyperpigmentation on the skin, those things are consistently the sun is consistently working against you, if you will. So we'll find that we'll use sunscreen during summer activities like being at the pool, boating, being at the beach. But then in our day to day, when we're in our cars driving around, or when we're in the winter months, we don't necessarily reach for the sunscreen. So, tip number two is to ensure that you're using sunscreen on a daily basis all year long.
Yes, yes. I have my sunscreen right there in my group of makeup
Yeah,
so that I put it on. And you can also get the tinted sunscreen, which sometimes I use that as makeup, alone because
absolutely.
it'll cover. Is that something you could do too? That makes it
Like a
easier
two for
to put
one.
on the sunscreen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have it myself.
Mhm. And so I know, so sunscreen, ladies, uh, and men who are our allies listening to us, please, you too, sunscreen year round. So that's an important tip. And Dr. Trinette says she's incorporating sunscreen as a daily. Right, right.
And
It's
it's I do want to address the comment about it we sort of, the deeper the skin tone, there was this myth out there for a very long time that we didn't necessarily need to reach for sunscreen. So I'm so glad that there's so much education out and so many brands that are debunking that. Not only are they debunking it, they are making products that are compatible with deeper skin tones, because for a long time there wasn't a product range that really read well on a deeper skin tone. We sort of
mhm,
had that weird, chalky
chalky
cast.
and it kind of
So
sat
we were
on your
like,
skin.
why are we using this? It's
That's
not
right.
for us. So when you start to see the products that have entered the marketplace now, you see that there have been so much work done and advancements in technology. So there are products that are available for all skin tones so that we can enjoy sunscreen year round.
I love it. And I know a, I've really learned the hard way about sunscreen, as a Shay knows, because I have that, what do you call it, the Malaysia that comes from the sun, et cetera, because I grew up on the beach. I'm from the Jersey
Mhm.
Shore. Going on to the beach was a daily ritual. And back then, Oh no, we didn't use no sunscreen. We used baby oil.
Yeah.
And we used to put the drops of iodine, I think it was iodine or food coloring, something in it to make it have that orangey color. And we would slather that on and be on the beach, the sand all day long.
Mhm.
Sunscreen, please. So, but now I have the effects of it. And so I'm never without my sunscreen. It's just a really great thing. And we wanted to bring this tip to you leaders, so that you know when we're talking about, confidence and executive presence, having a routine, using sunscreen, these things matter. And so what's next?
Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit of the fun and color of makeup.
Okay.
So we definitely want to address the brows. Since the beginning, and I've been in
Now
this
say this one
space,
more time. The
the
brow. Listen,
eyebrows. Yes,
eyebrows. Okay.
eyebrows.
Y'all, we talking
So
eyebrows.
and
You
and
didn't
and like I
expect us to talk about that, huh? Go
listen, the brows frame the face. As an artist, I can remember the early days of my training. I always started with brows. I would spend the most time with brows. Some of my trainers would go, Shay, like I never thought about the effects of eyebrows. So here's the thing when it comes to eyebrows. There's a
ahead.
couple of things I want you to know. First off, don't stress. They're sisters, not twins. Okay. I
Okay.
get so many clients who are stressed. They want them to look exactly alike and they want to, spend a ton of time on what it looks like to shape them. Don't necessarily worry about getting them perfect. What I do want you to focus on is actually filling them in. Believe it or not, as we age, we start to lose brow hairs. So
Mhm.
that is one of the first signs of premature aging on the face is the loss of brow hairs. So your brows start to thin out a bit. They do start to get lighter in
Mhm.
color. So then they start to disappear on your face. So you're almost losing that framework that you've had your entire life. And you're looking, going, well, wait a second, like, why am I, losing my look or my vibrancy? It really starts with the eyebrows. So I recommend that you grab a brow product and you start to practice just filling in where the hair already grows. Don't worry about these perfect shapes. I am not concerned about that. Really, just wanting you to add a little dimension and thickness to your brow. And one last thing with brows,
Mhm.
none of us technically have jet black hair.
Okay.
So, even though they make jet black brow pencils, I always encourage customers or my executive women, if you are going to purchase a brow product, get the dark brown or the deep brown or the rich brown. Get the darkest brown they have, even if you believe that your hair is black, because we don't want to give off a harsh effect with
Uh,
the brows. We really just want to reframe the face.
mhm. I really appreciate this piece of advice because you hear about the brows and the framing of the face, but as you are talking about, it also by when we fill and shape our brows, uh it is an anti-aging move
It
as well.
is.
I mean, that's really what you're saying. And I think as we continue to grow and be vibrant and move through our life and career, these little tips and tricks and things that will help us maintain our executive presence are so essential. I love it. So we want to make sure we continue framing our
Mm-hmm.
face,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the eyebrows do.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things we're seeing this huge movement in beauty that is hashtag pro aging, right? Where women of a particular age are saying, wait a second, I don't want to look 20. I don't want to go back and look the way I looked years ago. I just want to be the best version of myself.
That's
So
right.
this is one of my pro aging tips, right? Like frame out this beautiful face that you
Mhm.
have so that we can focus on, your eyes, and most importantly, as executive women, what's getting ready to come out of your mouth. So it's such a great first step. So I often get questions too about product type. You can go with a product that feels comfortable for you starting out. Some people are more comfortable with pencils, others are more comfortable with creams. Definitely lean on the beauty advisors that work in these various retailers. They're trained in these areas to really get you to the product that'll work best. That's totally a personal
Right.
decision, but make
Mhm.
sure you're grabbing something to get the work done.
Yeah, again, loads of tips in that. I know that I years ago I said to Shay, I want to enhance, going into my next best life, and I want to enhance, um, me. I don't want to look like a teeny bopper, although,
Mhm.
I be moving and got plenty of energy, of course. But I want to, you know, be me. It was really for me about authenticity. Okay. And so I went to Shay and said, kind of help me do that. And the tip also about going into retail stores and going to beauty counters and really asking uh, the folk who are there to help you, to show you products, to spend a day just doing that. As a leader, as you're thinking about your look, and we've talked a lot about that here. So we talk about our brand, executive presence, being more confident, our next steps. As you think about, well, what do I want to do to look good? Spend some time in the retail shops. I know I did. And
Mhm.
just go from counter to counter and get that kind of advice. All right, so we've got these three great tips, got more coming. So create a routine. Make sure that you have a ritual morning and night. Please use your sunscreen, and sunscreen should be part of your that routine all year round.
Mhm.
And then a pro aging tip, fill and shape your brows. Fabulous tips. And at this point, I wanted to also remind you, if you love these tips, you need to join Elevate Next Level Success, my community, right, Shay? Because on
Absolutely.
a daily basis, every morning, I send out tips that deal with leadership and lifestyle and legacy and confidence and networking and a whole bunch of things that we as leaders uh, need to know about and talk about. And it's a community where you can share. That's next, elevate next level success.com. And Shay, I also want to tell for those who are listening and on the replay next week, Leadership America, the leadership of the oldest and first leadership development organization for women, national organization, the chair of the board, the president of the organization, and a board member will be joining me to talk about women in leadership for 2025. And we're going to be talking
Yes.
about what's next after breaking glass ceilings. Okay.
Yes.
So, yes, isn't that a great
I
topic?
I
Yay!
love it. I'm
Yes,
obsessed.
yes. So next week, 9 o'clock, Wednesday, same time. So if you're just joining, I am here with Shay Bailey, a beauty expert, a brand strategist who's been in the business for many, many years. I can vouch for her expertise, her competency, her caring. And she also has an app. So before we get to tips 4 and 5, just give us a quick sound bite on that app you got.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much just our relationship has enriched me, and I've enjoyed working with you. We have our My Beauty Kit mobile app. You can download it on iOS and Android devices. My Beauty Kit Mobile is an app that offers up tips and beauty advice, as well as connecting you to specific brand exclusives. We offer live lessons where we teach some of these tips in a very bite sized way. The lessons are 15 minutes. They happen to be our most popular feature. And we talk about some of the things that I'm sharing here today and really teach and walk through the brands that can deliver you those results. So, My Beauty Kit Mobile, available on iOS and Android devices. I appreciate all of the support. We are just short of a year in the marketplace, and it's just been absolutely amazing. So, thank you for supporting and tell all your friends.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Thank you for bringing that to us. High, high value. All right. What's tip number 4 that
So,
we as women leaders looking to enhance our executive presence and confidence should be doing?
So, as I get into tip number 4, I do want to share when I'm working with my executive clientele, a couple of things have happened over the past few years that really bring beauty to the forefront. One, we are so much more digital now, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
we can spend an entire workday looking into a camera, looking at ourselves via Zoom, via Teams, and we're really starting to see what we look like to others. So it's creating awareness around our personal image. So we're starting to see a little bit more of a care and concern as to, wait a second, what am I doing to take care of my beauty routine, whether it be skincare or my color cosmetics? So as you start to branch into new spaces, going to these beauty counters that we are recommending you do, I want you to focus on picking a feature. So that's tip number 4. I never encourage my executive clients to go into it with a complete, 360, where you come out looking transformed and unrecognizable. Really sit with your current look and say, okay, where do I want to start? Do I want to learn how to do eye makeup and start there? Do I want to learn how to cover and contour my skin? Do I want to start there? Or do I want to, which I'll talk about, that's my last tip, we're going to get into lips, or do I want to start with lips? So as you're starting to navigate this space, going into the beauty counters, asking questions, getting advice, pick a feature, because I have to tell you, my counterparts and my peers are there. They are very excited to help you. So you'll go into these counters and you can be overwhelmed with makeovers, right? Where they want to get you going from root to chin. You look at the counter and there's anywhere from 5 to 10 plus products that you need to transform your look. I
Mhm.
never encourage transformative makeup. We want to enhance. So
Okay.
really sit with your current look and say, you know what, which feature do I want to pick now, and stick to that feature for a few months before you add on another.
And when we talk about features, you mean like maybe it's your lips or your eyes or your cheekbones.
Yes,
That's what
yes.
you mean when you say pick a feature. And you know what I love about that tip is that you're saying to us that pick a feature, stay with it for a while, few months, but you can then pick another feature you
Yes.
want. And that also is how we can use accessories in terms of creating that leadership look, that executive presence look. Sometimes it's, wearing pearls, sometimes it's big, beautiful scarves. I know some leaders who wear the hats, some who do their hair in a certain way, but picking something that becomes you is helps with the authenticity, the uniqueness. And we're always looking for, well, what is that unique value, that unique something that we bring to the party? And
You, oh,
and
that's
having that, and I just that's what one of the reasons why I love this tip, because focusing on a feature again is all about the unique us, the unique you.
And it also helps those around us really digest it, right? Like you
Mm,
all are leaders in your space. So imagine one day you show up to a conference call or a meeting and you're unrecognizable to the people in the room, right? We're not going for shock value here, right? We
right.
are going for enhancement. So it also helps not only make sure that those around you are digesting the look and they're on this journey with you in a small way, but also you show up more confident in that look, right?
Yes.
Have you ever, done something very drastic, whether it be with your clothing or what have you, and it takes you a minute to get adjusted? We really want to make sure that you walk in confidence with any of the choices you're making today regarding your beauty regimen. So, picking a feature will give you a moment to digest it, walk with confidence, have those around you really be drawn into it, not necessarily, wondering like what's happening, what's new,
Get into your
right?
groove.
Yeah, so it really helps when you ease into it on both sides. So that's always another benefit of picking a feature and sitting with that particular feature for a couple of months before adding on.
Right. Love it, love it. And then I gotta admit, it's probably one of my favorites. Yes.
Yes, me
Tip
too.
number 5. Let's get it.
So tip number is so, and when I tell you this was completely unplanned, we did not plan
Yes,
to
we
show
did.
up in such a similar look today
Yes,
at all. So it was just when we both saw each other this morning, we went, oh my gosh, look at us. So
yes.
it does lead me into tip number 5 is a bold lip. Now, something I want to say right out the gate, right? When you think bold lips, sometimes you think a pink, like you're seeing with us here today, or a red, and that can seem very overwhelming. It's
Mhm.
not the case where I'm recommending that you go with the most vibrant color on the spectrum. My recommendation is it is always easier to start with really highlighting the lip area. And even some more neutral colors can be considered bold, right? We're moving into fall, those nice Bordeaux's,
Mhm.
those beautiful rust colors. So there are colors on the neutral spectrum that are classified as bold lips. And it's such a confidence booster. I have to tell you, even if I do nothing to my eyes, I have on minimal base or foundation. If I have on a bold lip, I'm owning the room.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yes.
walk in, my confidence level is through the roof. I am owning the room, and it really only takes a couple of times for you to wear a bold lip and
Mhm.
receive the compliments. When you wear a bold lip, people will notice right out the gate. They are drawn to you. They want to hear what's next.
Mhm.
They are looking and saying, okay, wait a second. This woman is so confident. She just owned this entire space when she walked in. I want more. Bold
Exactly.
lips are almost like a blazer or a pump, right?
Mhm.
And here's the thing. This was something that I started to say and notice during the pandemic. We aren't telling our story from roots to boots any longer,
Mhm.
right? We are in front of screens. We are not engaging, with clients and or colleagues, giving them our full self because oftentimes we're virtual. So that gives us more space to play and experiment with our bold lips. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it is the number one confidence booster as it pertains to your beauty regimen.
I love it. And I am, I've been for those of you who watch this show, who with me, members of my community, you know that, I be having on a bold lip, usually pink. But Shay, I also remember a point in my career, in fact, when I became the head of United Way, the first female, and it's a lot of attention, a lot of media attention, all of that. One of the things I decided that I wanted to do was the lip. So I started a red lip. And it was a one of those bold. In fact, it was, Max
Ruby Woo.
Ruby. There you go.
Yes.
Ruby Woo.
I
You remember that?
remember.
Ruby Woo. And it was a strategic move. It was, because it was a brand new assignment, never done. It was one of those, some would say glass. I broke the glass ceiling, but I also was on a glass cliff. And for those of you who read my articles, I just wrote about that, the glass cliff, etc. And it was a very uncertain time, very tumultuous, and all of that. And I was looking for things that I could do to enhance confidence, my confidence. I'm talking about me. And one of them was to wear that red lip. And that's what I did for about a year or two. I love it. So you're right. It's one of those simple things, and you can use matte or gloss.
You can. So
And
if you're feeling as if you're not comfortable with the boldness or the how striking a matte can be, you can start with a gloss. Giving
yes,
yourself a wash of color is bold in many instances. So definitely not taken away from the fact that gloss can really give you that effect as well.
yes. Well, this has just been incredible, these tips, etc. Let me just look and see. We've got a lot of comments. I want to say good morning to those I haven't. I see Janice is here. If I haven't said good morning to you, Maria, how are you? It's only because I can't see right now, but how you doing, Maria? Oh, so sorry. So we're sorry for joining. Please, you here, so we glad. Um, and I see. So, are there questions? Any questions that anyone has? Okay, so here's a question: are we able to share some options for non-chalky sunscreen options for skin? And I
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
will definitely say the one that I use is CeraVe,
Mm-hmm.
the, tinted moisturizer, which is fantastic. What do you have to say,
And
Shay?
CeraVe is always dermatologist recommended. So if you have sensitive skin, that's a way to go, and you could pick that up right at your local drugstore. Another brand that is breaking barriers as it pertains to the look on when it's on the skin and not having that chalky effect is called Black Girl Sunscreen. They were one of the first to really start a conversation around deeper skin tones. Ensuring that they were wearing sunscreen on a daily basis. You can pick them up in Target. They're available in some CVS locations, but I definitely grab mine in Target and Ulta locations. One other I'll recommend is Supergoop. Love Supergoop. You can pick them up in Sephora, and they have a clear sunscreen that works really well. They also have a reset spray, which I think is critical. A lot of times we apply sunscreen and we, go about our day and we don't think about it any longer. But if you are in the car and you're outside in the elements, you do want to reapply your sunscreen. And that can be sort of puzzling. Like, how do you reapply
Mhm,
sunscreen?
mhm.
Supergoop, they do make a spray called a reset. spray that I purchase. I keep it in my car, and if I'm out and about, I'll just give myself a nice spritz. And
Yes.
don't forget your décolleté, because we also see a lot of sun damage in the chest area. So don't forget that area.
So we've got some other questions, but our time is running out, which just again is, I think, an indication that this is really a topic that we need to keep talking about. We, as executive women, as women in leadership positions, running businesses, in corporations, doing our thing, um, really don't have a lot of places to go to that really focus on you being an executive woman, seasoned woman leader, midlife in Q3, Q3, that 50 to 75 age range, where I think is the best age to be in, really prime. And so I'll do this again. And I want you to know that Shay and I are talking about ways that we can collaborate more, because we find more and more women are asking us. I know in my coaching sessions, more and more women are asking about executive presence and branding and all of that. And beauty and makeup is a part of it, is a part of that boosting confidence. And like I said, I couldn't have had this conversation, bring this to you, without the fabulous Shay Bailey. I am
Oh my
so
gosh.
delighted, my sister, that you joined.
Thank you for having me. You know, I admire you and have for a very long time. So just having the opportunity to sit, have this conversation with you, and really leave some value with your audience has been my pleasure.
The only thing that you said that was wrong, you said leave some value. You left a lot of value, girl. Lots of it. Wasn't she fabulous? Thank you. Love you, Shay.
Love you
See
too.
you next time. So, this is what I'm saying. These are the kinds of things we want to talk about. Join me, Elevate Next Level Success.com. Every single day, I send out tips and strategies about leadership, lifestyle, legacy, confidence, executive presence, networking, all of these things that are important to us as women in leadership roles. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If it created value for you, if you found it worth listening to, join us next week, every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, and join my community of like minded leaders like you at elevatenextlevelsuccess.com. Just go to that and join, sign up. We'd love to have you. Remember, the tips that we shared today: have a routine, include sunscreen in that routine. Make sure you're putting it on all the time, all year round, and refresh it. Pro aging tip: fill and shape those browns. And I love what Shay said: your brows are sisters, not twins. Okay. Pick a focus feature to get started on. And remember that lip. Hey, use a bold lip. Do a bold lip. If nothing else, walk into the room and say, here I am. Love it. Love you all. Next week, it's going to be a fantastic conversation. Leadership America will be here. We'll be talking about, thank you, Marie. Loved you, love you, glad you joined. Next week, Leadership America will be in the house. I'll be talking with the three top women in that organization, which is the longest serving leadership development organization for women in the country. We're going to be talking about what's next for women in leadership in 2025. And since we've gone through making those cracks in the glass ceilings and breaking glass ceilings, okay, that's good. Now what? And so, with all the focus on us as women in leadership positions, it's a conversation you do not want to miss. And so I'm going to see you there. Hope I said hello to everyone who was with us. Thank you all. Love you. See you next time.